Okay, for the last units of this course, we're going to talk about the final applied research project. This is a 1,000-word research paper that you need to do. One of the challenges with this sort of artificial intelligence course is we do a survey of lots of different topics. So every unit we're jumping around to a new topic. And so while we get to see lots of topics, we really don't get to dive in very deep to any one topic. So this is your chance to pick your favorite topic from this course and do a significant research on it. This is a 1,000-word research project that's about maybe 4 or 5 pages, depending on how much spacing. If you single space it, it's only 3 pages. So it's not that long of a research paper. I have some requirements. Basically, I want you to describe your position on some area of AI research, including what you think is promising, what's good, and what's not. I want you to compare and contrast one area of research with some other competitive areas of research. Now, optionally, you can include some actual software simulations or run some simulations here. So maybe you want to go back and look at some of the code for genetic algorithms. You can actually run that code and try out different versions of it and say this version worked out better than this version. Or, maybe you're more interested in the image recognition with the convolution neural networks. You can go back there and run those simulations and do your own research to see which kind of configurations work correctly. So you kind of have two choices. One is you can just do research and no simulation. Another thing is you can do some research and add a simulation to it. There. There's lots of topics we can cover. I'll try to list out. I try to maintain a list here of some current topics. I often find students have some challenges sometimes finding a good research paper to start with that they can understand. So I'll try to link some initial topics here to research papers that might help you out. But again, any sort of topic that's related to the course material is good. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and run ideas by me for this. Um, so the basic requirement is to, again, do a critical analysis of some literature, support your position or your thesis. You should state your thesis very explicitly. Um, include some comparison or contrast to other literature or other ideas that are out there. You have to have at least two academic peer-reviewed journals that you're going to read. And there's two good places to research them in Solar and in Google Scholar. Both of those, and you can log into Solar is our own CSS libraries one, and you can use your login to get into that. So either of these are good. A good place to find peer-reviewed journal articles. One thing I will warn you is often these peer-reviewed journal articles are hard to understand. So let me just show you an example and talk you through one of these. So here's this. This is an article that compares genetic algorithms to do clustering versus k-means clustering algorithms. And what's nice here is these are two topics we have covered in a class. So now I can go to this PDF of this article and read through it. Some things to focus on, certainly the abstract and the introduction, and they'll point to some literature here. So read through the introduction. Hopefully you can understand some things. So here, again, biologically inspired operators like crossover and mutation. So you should know what crossover and mutation are from our work in genetic algorithms. Same when they mention k-means classifiers, and you should be able to see that. But again, there's going to be lots of stuff. Even researchers, I have a PhD in this, and when I read some of these, there's easily a third of the topics in here I just don't understand or don't get. So sometimes you have to spend weeks. Researchers have to spend weeks going over these papers, and you don't have that much time. So again, just try to get the gist of this paper and see what you can understand. So pay attention to the introduction, and there's going to be topics in here that you're not going to understand, some equations here. But again, here they're talking about clustering, and they're talking about k-means clustering. So hopefully you can understand just that small section where they're talking about what k-means are. And maybe while you're not going to understand this mathematical proof or setup for this, maybe this little overview of how a genetic algorithm works you can understand. And again, often we can kind of skip over a lot of the actual data here and the implementation. If you can get to that, that's fine. But again, we just want to get to the basics out of this article. So I'm going to skip down here and get down to here where they're doing the discussion and conclusion, what's there, and the summary. So again, they're talking about setting up some genetic algorithms to do clustering, and here they will tell you whether or not how they compare to k-means or not. So that's what you're basically looking for with this. So don't expect to be able to understand all, but hopefully find an article that you can understand parts of. And that's why I've tried to link some in here to get you started with some. Um, Now, we want this written in APA style as far as especially with how you cite things and reference things. So there's a link here to the library guides for these. I don't know if you use this section of the library, but here they talk about references. So if you want to reference a website, this will walk you through how to cite a website here. Or if you want to reference electronic book or a journal article, this will talk you through how to describe and give you examples of referencing this reference article out there. Um, Also, citing citations you want in your course, you want to say things like this fact is stated in, and then cite again. And APA uses the name of the author and then the year it was cited here. So you want to be citing things like this. And you'll see, like, here's a sample page paper. I have a couple sample papers linked up here. So this is a recent student who wrote this on recommender systems that recommend what you should buy next. Um, and again, there's citations in here. Um, and in this first one, it's a well-written paper, and there are references here to the articles that uses APA style. One thing I find is that this person uses the online citation method, which is okay, but I would prefer the another method. One thing, if you like using Google search, you find a paper, you can just hit the cite button here and click on APA, and this is how you would cite that. So this is how you would list that um, in your references. As an example too, if you don't want to always go to the library stuff. One thing about this first paper is the author did not, the student did not cite actual works down below very much. What I like to see, like the second paper, we do these sorts of citations where we're referring down below to things, to some of the reference articles. So I expect you to have a couple reference citations like that. Okay, so again, you can use the Google Scholar Solar, and you need two peer-reviewed articles. But again, I suggest you also find some other things. A good Wikipedia article, other good internet sources also help frame your work, especially at your undergrad level of work. Um, Now, your paper outline is given here. You want to do an introduction. We want to overview this and give your position. Say, I think this system is better than that system, or this method is better than that method. Now, you might describe your software solution. Again, sometimes students are using some of the programs. You can use the particle filter, maybe system we developed, and change that. But a fair number of you won't be using any software simulation, so you can go back and forth whether or not you put this optional section in. The research overview, again, you're going to be looking at different research positions or methods and contrasting those and supporting describing the different ones and supporting which ones you think, or which one you think is best. And so that's your position where you state, based on the research you've done, I believe this way is now improving. Often you're just summarizing other people's work. So you found some papers that say this way of doing things is now better than this other way, and you're just summarizing that in your paper here. So the paper outline is the first thing to it. It's due the first set. And basically, I want you to have the introduction, the software simulation if you're doing one, and the research review done, or initialized. At least a paragraph for this, and if you're doing a software simulation, a paragraph for that. But certainly a paragraph for these two to show me that you've found a couple articles and found a topic, and you can kind of state your position here. So that's what I want to have right away. And then I'll give you some feedback for that as you're working on the rest. So this important I get this done, give you some feedback on that, and the final paper will be due and turned in here. Okay, good luck with the paper. Feel free to talk to me about any questions you have or help with research. I often sit down with students and help them find a good reference, or help them kind of refine their topic a little bit. Students often pick topics that are way too broad for it. You don't want to pick a topic like self-driving cars. You want to pick a topic that's specific inside that area. So that's why I've tried to provide you a list of some topics here to give you an idea of some ideas. And again, you're not limited to this, and you might want to go back through the topics we've covered in class and review what we've done and see what piques your interest.